Hello and welcome to episode 103 of Imfinecast. Is that coffee right, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Tasty?
I wouldn't have known.
What? Wouldn't have known what? That it was decaffeinated?
It's the devil's coffee. Yeah.
It's a chat around the subjects of health, wealth and well-being between myself, Damo, and Dr. Dolittle himself. And I don't mean Doctor Does Nothing. Doctor Done Nothing with his life. Or Doctor Do Nothing during the day. But you've got a little Robin, haven't you?
Yeah,
Who comes
so
to visit
close.
you. So close to what?
My hand.
Oh, you're trying to get him on your hand?
Yeah.
And then what?
Then I'll start talking to him.
Right.
They had to push me, pull you, didn't they, Dr. Dolittle?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. I'm over prepared today.
Yeah, well, you text me and said, I'm on good form.
Yeah.
Taking that as you're carrying
I've
this
got
bad
over
boy.
70 screenshots of different things I'd like to talk about.
That, again, is not helpful on a podcast medium, Mark. You know that. My voice sounds really deep on here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Do you?
Someone said my voice sounded not too good. Was that
Not
Martin?
too good. Yeah, it was
Not too good.
So you're Robin, you're still feeding him steak?
Yes.
Right, you're luring him in with a little bit of...
Why
don't you just try some bird seed, like normal people?
I don't think they're really into that because the main thing is mealworms.
I've got two Robins coming in, they're banging to it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've got mealworms, I've got sunflower seeds, nuts,
Seed oils.
mill seed. Yeah. Nice little water bath. You need to give him the environment.
Well, I'm in the middle of a field. There's plenty of water.
You need to innovate.
He was on the roof of the tent the morning before last,
Right.
basically waiting for me.
Well, it's anything holding it down, isn't he, that, Robin?
That's good, that one.
You're welcome.
There's one good one.
What? One good what?
Jibe.
That's all you're getting tonight.
Yeah.
We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness, then our work here is done. I've been a bit poor this week, as you know, Mark.
Yeah.
But I'm better now.
Good.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Great.
Really? What's happened?
Well,
So I didn't mean it like that.
Our numbers are going to go down. Mark's happy. Last thing we need on this pod.
When did this start? Let's get to the bottom of this.
Just been happy today.
Good. You wake up all right, and on the right.
Everything is just
on the right side of your sleeping bag.
Just feel good. Just feel really good.
Good. I'm not knocking it. I think it's brilliant.
There's not a why or nothing has happened.
I'm just curious if there's any unlocking of extra levels in your life at the moment.
No. The story I put out on addiction, did you see that?
Yeah, the little birdie one. I watched it a minute ago, yeah.
I just put it out as a little... I don't know why I put it out.
Did you see? It wasn't to do with addiction, but you made it to do with addiction.
No, it's to do with addiction.
Oh, it was a...
Yeah. The person who posted it did it for.
Do you want to describe what it was?
So it's a very, very... I was going to say naive cartoon, but naive in terms of drawing. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of a little sort of duck-type bird that walks along and finds a little...
It's like an egg yolk, isn't it?
Yeah, a little nugget of something on the ground, eats it, feels good, flies into the sky, lands, then finds another one, flies into the sky, and all's looking good.
And it gets a bit quicker.
Yeah, and he also has a few crash landings.
Yeah.
So a little bit.
So as the faster he goes, the worse the landing. Yeah.
So he's looking more and more to get these little nuggets, and he flies less and less high every time.
Oh, right.
And the landing is harsher every time. And then the lighting on this cartoon sort of gets darker and darker, and in the end, he's not got any energy to find the nugget. And I don't even know why I put it out. I think I put it out a little bit because I'm not aware of my mental health in a negative way as much as I have been over the last few years. I almost feel my BPD is a bit of a passenger at the moment rather than predominant.
Cool.
And I recognise that I'm posting things like pictures of robins and sunsets and
gone all soft, haven't you?
the UFOs that no one could see.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to post that. It just went by accident. But anyway,
the one that you've drawn a red ring around the bit that's meant to be the flying saucer. You mean that was just it went off in your pocket, did it?
Yeah.
Right. Of course it did.
I didn't mean to actually post it. I was going to post it because I could convinced I could see the UFO on the photo. You could just see the sky. It's a bloody iPhone. If I had a Samsung flip phone, I probably could have seen the people waving at the window. But I just decided to post something. And the interesting thing for me was someone who I know sort of vaguely, I wouldn't say they're a friend, contacted me 11 minutes after me posting that story.
All right.
And said, I need help. Can you come and talk to me?
Wow.
And I'm going, yeah.
Wow.
And that, I think that partly...
That's not a text you ignore, Mark, is it? Do you know what I mean? In true Mark form.
Yeah. 3 weeks later.
Yeah. Okay, hun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still struggling.
Yeah, I haven't heard from you yet.
But I didn't reply instantly because I didn't want to seem too keen, I guess. But I did reply fairly quickly.
Right, within minutes, not hours.
And that was quite quick. And I think what happened, I think that's adding to my mood, is that fate or whatever had said, just send this, because I've had that cartoon for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I love the tune to it, and I love it's a very sort of haunting song, isn't it?
I don't know, I didn't have the sound up.
Oh, it needs the sound.
I didn't say. You didn't do the little volume up icon, did you? I don't know. Get the idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to sad songs.
Yeah. And so anyway, I think that's added to my positive mood. Not that this person needs to speak to me, but that maybe just something, it was the right time to post it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay, in fact, someone got back as, if we can just help one person. Indeed, in all this madness.
Are we done then? Are we tonight? Is that...
Yeah, our worker is done. Yeah.
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram at imfinecast and search for all of our episodes by category and tag on our lovely website, imfinecast.com. Please do give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you can. And if it's your first time listening to us, welcome. Just relax, breathe, maybe make a nice cup of chamomile, spark up if that's your thing. What? Just trying to be inclusive here. Yeah. And let our voices lap over you like the muddy, foamy water down at Weston-super-Mare.
Yeah,
there's always mucky foam, isn't there, down at Weston?
Yeah.
And Clevedon.
What is that foam in the water?
What is that foam? Yeah. It can't be natural, can it?
No. Don't know.
Sewage, right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every time I think of foam parties, the kids have these, I think of Weston
Poo parties.
Yeah. So coming up in this episode, we have our usual catch-up and bookmarks, although we're a bit light on that.
We're not at all light.
Are we not?
No, we're overburdened, if anything. We'd be lucky to get this in 3 hours.
Right, okay. Right. And you're in the doghouse a bit. We'll come to that in a minute. And are we doing your blood results today? Because that's what I've got written down here. Don't.
Yeah.
For everyone who can't see Mark's face, that was oh shit, I forgot to bring my blood work.
I've got my blood work. The only problem is I'm having a constant problem with my password. I don't think it'll be a problem.
You can't get into your account?
No, I continually get into my account. And then I put the same password in the next time I go into my account, and they went, you need to change your password.
What?
And I think I've just done this.
What episode's hanging on this?
Then they go, put a new password in. So I put the password that I've just put in.
And then it says you can't do that.
They said you can't use one you've already used. And I went, if you know I've already used it, then it was the right password.
Oh, you fuckers.
Don't piss me about.
You fuckers, yeah. Of course. You'd like to mention names with the company. Is this the company that we did it with before?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're not going to mention
I gave them a 5-star review. I think they're a
you?
good company. I think they were very...
Yeah, their website sounds shit by the sounds of it. Well,
and
we're not affiliated with them, I can say that.
The woman in Superdrug was really... when you want to have blood taken, you know the sort of person...
Was that where you went to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. You
Go
didn't
in
send
a
it
little
off?
room.
I thought you just send it off in the post.
No, it's 4 vials. It isn't like a prick in your hand.
Okay. I'm not going then. You mean it is?
Perhaps instead of a sugar lump afterwards. Can I have a sticker? No, have this. And that's very carry on, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, when you walk in, and also it was like, I think there was people queuing there for other injections. I don't think they were all having blood tests. Right. And you walk in, and as soon as you walk in, the person taking the blood test is exactly how you want them to look.
What? Qualified? Competent?
Yeah, in a fireman's outfit and stilts. No. I'm going to break the ice. Yeah.
Relax.
I'm now going to juggle these flaming torches.
Yeah.
You won't feel a thing. No, just...
What did it look like?
Oh, she just looked... I was just
Normally
reassured.
they all look like when you go into kind of high street places to have those things done, you get the first day jobber, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
No, it was 4 tubes of blood. It was a lot of blood.
Was it?
Because I didn't really even like that pinprick thing at the end of your finger. You had to squeeze like anything to get
You did.
anything
It didn't want to come out of you, did it?
Were you okay with it?
Yeah, it was all right.
Okay.
Couldn't stop bleeding. I think just stopped bleeding. That was about 2 years ago. bookmarks. I just want to kind of really touch on very quickly the Chinese population bit because I didn't have any numbers to hand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Although China has 1.4 billion people, the most in the world, its births are set to fall to record lows this year, demographers say, dropping below 10 million from last year's 10.6 million babies, already down 11.5% from 2020. The authorities imposed a one-child policy from 1980 to 2015, later switching to a three-child policy, acknowledging the nation is on the brink of a demographic downturn. Its fertility rate of 1.16 in 2021 was below the 2.1 OECD standard for a stable population and is amongst the lowest in the world. So I wanted to give you the numbers because we didn't have them to hand.
And South Korea is the lowest as well. I looked that up.
Yeah. One of our lovely listeners.
Is this the doghouse bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sent me a link.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Come on,
The
what?
one you sent to me?
Oh, I did send on to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? So I think it was our first episode back, wasn't it? 100.
Mm.
You brought this up.
Mm.
Because you were listening to Joe Rogan talking about a student in America, a young student who wanted to attend school, but they were a furry. They identify as a furry. Your story, via Joe Rogan's story, was that this person or this person's parents had requested that cat litter was made available at school so their child could go. But Joe Rogan has acknowledged spreading misinformation after he suggested that elementary... Don't interrupt me, please. Don't interrupt me. Can I just read this bit out and then you can have your say? Okay. How's that? I'm just trying to keep balance here. Joe Rogan has acknowledged spreading misinformation as he suggested that elementary schools were installing litter boxes for students who identify as furries. The sensationalist urban legend was rooted in the rights... What? I don't understand.
It's The Guardian. It's badly written, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
No. Firstly, using the pun of being in the doghouse. That was wasted.
There's cats in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't have been funny, would it?
I heard his explanation of why he might have gone a little bit off-piste in that description. And it wasn't, as The Guardian said, that he basically put his hands up and went, this has never happened, it's all total lies.
Right.
The teacher that gave him the information, that was a friend of his, or the wife of a friend of his, did do it in good faith, and it was discussed in the school.
Which is, I think, what you said.
Yeah. She then left the school, but I think the assumption was that the school were going to go ahead with it, and I think what happened in retrospect, they didn't. But it wasn't that he was spreading misinformation. When you listen to it, some of the things that have come back from other people, like the Furry Corporation or whatever it is.
Is that what they're officially called?
Said something along the lines, or somebody was saying, we've no record of this happening, but someone from a hotel where a lot of people stayed for their convention said, although no one asked for it, something, it has been raised. Or, it was almost like we can't point to an exact thing about it. So I think that was the problem.
But we're not saying it isn't true.
Yeah. I don't think it was so wide of the mark. I think that's the point he's making. And I do accept that when you... And he's very good at putting his hand up to stuff.
But also, I've just reported that based on something I was sent.
I've
not corroborated that or gone, did he actually say, sorry for spreading misinformation?
Yeah,
Would he just go, you've taken me out of context? I don't know.
Yeah. And also...
So I'm making this worse. Is that what I'm doing? I'm
making
this whole debacle.
Also, that link it's like who you want to believe. They could be spreading misinformation as well.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Of course, I don't...
Nothing's
who's in the doghouse then? It's not you. Could be me. Am I?
I don't know.
Have you got any campsite reviews?
Yeah.
You got them on you?
Yeah.
I mean, in your own time. Cue this bit. We are live, Mark, on the...
Okay. I've got a potpourri of reviews. So before we go into them...
Right, what does that mean? Something that smells nice?
I think it's used in terms of just like a mixed bag, isn't it?
It's not. A mixed bag is normally used.
Mixed bag.
A plethora would do. A multitude.
I'm going to paint the scene. So when I stayed there, I think it was 2 nights ago.
So this is the campsite that you've been on?
Yeah. When you come into the campsite, there's no light. So if you come in at night, there's no lights. There's some new signs that have been made. And it's actually approved by the Caravan and Camping Association.
Which is... The signage is approved?
No, the whole site is approved.
Oh, right.
So as you come in, there is no signs and there's also no reception. And depending on what time you come, there is no one there.
So, and then they've approved this, have they? They've approved a field in the middle of...
Well, 2 fields.
Right.
So the first field, which is by the shower block, tends to be the more popular one.
A shower block, he's got something.
And the field I go in is like a haunted field.
Haunted field, is it? Right.
Yeah.
Not as well as UFOs in it. It's haunted.
Just because it has some caravans that are being stored and the sort of grass is growing and there's moss in the windows. There's that sort of uncanny
So it feels
feel to it.
spooky.
Yeah.
So it's not haunted.
It just feels spooky.
You're just scared of the dark.
Yeah. So when I'm going into my field, as I like to call it, because I'm the only stupid bugger that's still camping in November.
Right. Do you get a discount? Like
it's gone up. It's
what?
gone up.
Everything has these days.
It's gone up 30%.
Right. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know how much
it's £8 now a night.
Right. Okay.
It was 6. It was 6 in the summer, which you would have thought was a peak time. You should be attracting people. Drop it to 4. Get some numbers through the door.
100%. Yeah.
So when you go into my bit of the field, it's a quagmire. It's just there's no grass. So it's a grass field, but all the grass has gone, and it's just thick mud. So 2 nights ago,
Camp in that.
No, that's the entry to the field.
Okay. The rest of the field's intact, is it?
Well, I'll read the reviews. So I was basically doing donuts in the car, or fucking donuts, as Stormzy would say.
We need ring donuts for that, don't you?
Isn't it? Yeah.
To fuck a donut.
Yeah, slightly glazed as well.
Helps, I guess, doesn't it?
The other night I was spinning. I couldn't get out of the quagmire to get to my pitch. There are no pitches. It is just a field.
Yeah.
So when you leave my field and go to the main field, the shower block has a dishwashing facility next to the toilets. And when I say facility, it has no water and it has no bowl or sink, but it has a piece of wood that has a hole cut out where a sink would go.
Right. That's more a toilet than a washing facility, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess without water, you're limited. That's what I'm saying. But reading the reviews, bearing in mind I've been living here
again,
since
this has
May,
been approved to this place.
Yeah. When I first got there, which was over 6 months ago now, there wasn't any separate drinking water. So there now is a tap in the middle of the field that has a cut-off hose pipe.
In your field or the other?
In the other field.
Right.
It's all the facilities.
Are in the other field.
The club, the entertainment.
Yeah.
So there's a standpipe with a cut-off hose pipe. So that's the drinking water.
Okay.
I've noticed a lot of people, when it says drinking water, use it as a drinking fountain.
Why don't put their mouth over the end of it?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Dirty bastards.
Yeah. So the toilet block, I've just found out from the reviews, there's, when you have like a camper van with a toilet, you put your waste stuff into a special, I was going to say slush
toilet,
fund, but no, you get rid of it, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You normally have like 2 drainage things at decent campsites.
Evidently at this campsite, there's a toilet. So you put your toilet
down the toilet. Yeah, but unlike a normal toilet, you probably put 3 days worth of toilet down the toilet.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. I haven't been into that section.
Where do you go? You got your own toilet?
I got my own toilet. So the major thing that I think, and I love the guy that runs it, although he gets a lot of grief in these reviews, although I think he's written some of them himself because he keeps going.
Well, he gives himself grief.
I
love this guy.
I
really need to pull my socks up.
When am I going to get that sink finished? So the actual shower block, so if you go into the gents side, there is a sink, which also I found out from the reviews. I didn't think there was any hot water. What I've worked out is the hot water comes out of the cold water tap. And I'd never thought...
Was it the only tap there? Or there's two taps. But only one.
There's cold water comes out of the red one and hot water comes out of the blue one if you push it long enough, evidently.
Right.
So there's a urinal and then there's a cubicle and a shower.
Right.
So that, for male, is it.
Okay.
There is no lighting in this shower block at all. Not even a little 10
Any daylight or anything?
No windows. No. So it's pitch black from
these places
dusk
allowed
onwards.
to exist? I mean,
you would have
some
thought,
kind of human rights violation here?
We're bringing what's her face?
A list of them.
What's her name? The foreign secretary. I've forgotten. Bring her.
Oh, I have no idea this week.
Is it Braverman? Bring her around to give an inspection. And I'm just thinking, so a couple of the reviews have gone, just have a motion sensor light. It's 20 quid with the battery just as you walk through.
Yeah, profit.
And obviously a lot of people doing their dishes in the toilet, so you've got...
When he's put his prices up, he can afford those things, can he?
Well, yeah.
Equipment.
Well,
what's he doing? Just
he's put it up, but there's only one person staying, and that's me, so he's only 2 quid better off.
Yeah.
So that is... And I think it's the same on the women's side. So it isn't luxurious.
You think? They might not have anything there.
No.
Have you seen any women apart from the nurses?
The nurses get a reference in one of the reviews.
Do they? Amazing.
So it hasn't got a lot of facilities, but it
Right.
doesn't pretend to have a lot of facilities. So
Right.
let's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting. So I'll just give a few
No, do.
random reviews. We'll just pick where it goes. Nobody knows. I've taken a lot of screenshots today.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just do this review that's nothing to do with the campsite? Okay. I don't know who this person was writing to, but the person's called Malika Julian, and she was reviewing something. I'm a vegan who eats meat every now and then. Until the world changes, then I will no longer eat meat at all. I started eating bacon again after a recipe caught my attention. As a vegan, if you're going to
She's
go
a
for
terrible vegan.
a bacon recipe,
Terrible.
isn't the first reading material
No.
you get. So I started eating bacon again. I got rid of my refrigerator so I don't keep perishables, like plants, anyway. I don't allow food to spoil. So when I purchased the bacon from my local store, I ate all of it in one day. If you haven't got a fridge, you couldn't keep bacon possibly for more than 24 hours, could you?
No.
This pack that I bought was perfect because it comes with 6 strips. So if you're like me, you're not really overdoing it. So for every problem, there's a solution, I thought. So that was nice.
Yeah, very good. Do you want to get back on piste?
Yeah, we're getting back on piece. So this is going back to September. Liked, the toilet was clean and very large. It's tiny and not very clean.
Okay.
Disliked, no reception on arrival. Site seemed to be mainly
Now, what phone reception? Or no one with a warm welcome?
Wi-Fi gets 5 out of 10. There is no Wi-Fi, but it gets 5 out of
That's
10
impressive.
rating. No reception on arrival. Site seemed to be mainly inhabited by homeless families and singles. Woeful washing up facilities. Only one shower for males and females. No Wi-Fi. So that's probably a good summation.
Yeah, yeah.
This was from the day before. Liked absolutely everything. Toilets are clean. No queues. Shower clean. Stocked up on toilet roll. The host, Beep, was very friendly and helpful.
Were they calling him a twat or something? Or just
Yeah, it's
Were you just not
unfortunate he
mentioning
was
his
called
name?
4-letter. Yeah. The fishing looks brill. I thought that was good.
Oh, is there a fishing lake there?
There's
You
2 fishing
mentioned a
lakes.
lake.
He
You
dug them out himself. He created them. They're great lakes.
Only fishing them?
The fishing looks brill.
Look, we haven't done it, have they? This guy's...
Fucking hell, this is hard work.
This guy's a tight ass. He ain't going to put fish in it, is he?
Brill's a type of fish.
Oh, okay. Do you know what you're getting in there?
Looks brill to get the family evolved. I think they mean involved. Great
I
experience.
don't know, by the sound of them.
Very-
Right. They might...
Then there's some evolution needed, yeah. The owner of the campsite was lovely.
All right.
He also dealt... Oh, okay, this is the 3rd of September.
Have you ever pretended to be the campsite owner? When he's not there? Because you're quite friendly with him now. Have you ever kind of stood in and just pretended?
Just take the money. Put a barrier up when he's not
that'd
there.
be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And just, if you take tenner, right, and give him his 8,
Yeah.
yeah, little sideline
Get 4 of
there.
those. I'm camping for free. Liked the owner of the campsite was lovely and made us feel welcome. This is good. This is the night of the nurses.
Right.
He also dealt with an extremely loud, disrespectful and horrifying group of middle-aged women
Oh, nice.
very well and told them to leave the campsite, which meant we could camp in peace after they
Well,
left.
didn't mention the guy who came out in his pants.
No, I was going to
flexing his
say,
pecs.
I was going to say he's getting all the praise for my
Yeah.
hard work.
Yeah.
So this is from the same night. Very quiet and friendly. It's like,
Was that from the nurses?
yeah, I'm already looking at booking another stay. Clean toilets.
Yeah, you're right. He's absolutely right in these.
Yeah. And also, everyone that's a 10 has grammatical errors. So this one is from Mark P.
They're all him. They're all him.
with no photo. Yeah.
Everything that's 10 is badly written.
This one goes very laid back, Layed. The other one said 10, got all the family evolved. There is a theme here.
Yeah.
The 10s all have grammatical errors. Liked, you got to guess the rating. Liked, it's cheap. Disliked, 1 shower for the entire site in what's best described as a wooden shack, which doesn't even have a light and looks just a bit grubby. No signs or markers to say where you're supposed to pitch.
Right.
Washing machine drums scattered around the fields. Looks like they're being used as fire pits. They are.
Yeah. That's an excellent idea.
It's
There's
upcycling, isn't it?
There's a life hack.
Don't see that as a negative. Yeah.
Got a spare.
Don't let
spare
curries take your washing
drum.
machine.
Yeah.
Pull the drum out, shove in your garden. Fishing isn't included in the price when the fishing is pretty much the only thing going for it. So this is a 10, and this is the last one I'm going to do, because this person liked a lot of it, but the dislikes are quite long. There is a theme that happens in about July and August of some people going, this is a cash cow, that this owner is basically milking it.
Very good. You mean on the on the
Well,
old
just
sly?
like he's getting money for nothing and the rent for free, that sort of deal. I don't think at £6 a night during the summer you're
Do you think
really
he's paying his taxes? Is that what you're inferring?
I don't know, but there is a few. There's disquiet amongst some of the reviewers.
Right.
So this person who gave it a 10 liked everything, disliked. I read someone refer to this as a cash cow for the owners. It's probably a little bit harsh, but not far off. And this is one of his best.
It's getting personal now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
The reviews from 5 months ago, so bearing in mind this is an August review, this guy is talking about the reviews in March. We're now in November. Talk about a new kitchen area being installed. The work is still ongoing.
Right.
That continues. They seem not to have improved since those comments 5 months back. The facilities, this is a 10 by the way.
Yeah.
The facilities need a massive improvement. 1 shower and 1 toilet for men and the same for women. It's a medium-sized site, so it's always busy. You'll have your morning shower while someone is doing a morning toilet to your immediate left.
A morning toilet?
Morning toilet.
Is that what we're calling it now, is it?
With a thin shower door as your only protection. I don't know whether they think there's going to be flying shit coming over. Washing up area is not connected to the plumbing. That's true, but there aren't any taps there anyway. So it would be easier to say there's a wooden bench. It isn't really a washing up area, as we discussed this. So there is nowhere for your water to drain. There's no fucking water, so he doesn't need a drain. The worst part...
Why are you sticking up for him? Why are you kind of...
The worst part
Do you know
for
what I mean?
me,
You sound
however...
really protective of your home.
The worst part of me, however, was the behaviour of the site's regulars. Now I'm taking this personally. This is why I'm getting some upbeat. The site's regulars. I am the most...
You're the only regular
on that site. Yeah, no one stays for more than a week. This one man, known as Loudmouth by us, I don't think this is me.
Hold on, I thought you were just making that up. Literally,
No,
you're still
this is
reading
true.
this.
This is
Okay,
true.
No, fair enough.
No, I'm not making this up.
No, that's all
The
right.
worst part for me, however, was the behaviour of the site's regulars. This one man, known as, inverted commas, Loudmouth by us, and the tents around him, couldn't stop swearing loudly.
Yeah.
F this... See that?
Oh yeah,
constantly.
I mean, this might as well just say your name.
They listen to the podcast, and this was all towards his kids. I'm off the hook.
Yeah. I mean, you have kids; they just weren't there with you. I mean, that's the, just for.
It made me feel uncomfortable, especially for his poor children. He also urinates between pitches.
Wait,
Now, I'm going to put my hand up to that.
Is that like a bad baseball player?
I'm going to put my hand up to that. If it's 3 a.m,
Right.
I ain't going away to the dark shower block to piss all over my feet. I will, but there's no one else there.
Whenever I've been camping, I couldn't do that. I'd always piss on my tyres, and then if I go multiple times, I try and work my way around the car.
Almost like a bit of a wash. Do your
Yeah,
alloys?
because it gets brake dust off. A treat. There's another little life hack for you.
So he's been urinating between pitches as he's been up until 2 a.m. drinking and couldn't face the morning walk to the block. Since he's a regular, I won't be. Having him ruin my weekend is enough to keep me away. 10.
Look at it.
It's like...
That's amazing. I don't know how this works.
No.
Do you have your blood work? Or do you want to try it?
I'm going to try it.
This whole episode is hanging on this. Well, when you got in there, why can't you take screenshots? Because the only time I would have welcomed a screenshot.
They show the result, and then it clicks into an explanation.
Yeah.
And I just thought me going, oh, I'm 1.4 on testosterone.
Yeah.
You probably need more than that.
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
what I thought.
Right.
When you put in like an email, and you put in a password, it doesn't tell you which you've got wrong. Quite often, does it? It just says your credentials do not match.
Yeah, sometimes.
And you just think, just give me a clue, or go, you're close. Do you know what I mean? It could
warmer.
Yeah.
Come on. What do you think this is?
It rhymes with... You could have Eunice Stubbs doing charades with Cliff Richard. No, it wasn't Cliff Richard, was it?
No one's going to get
It
that,
was,
Mark. Lionel Blair.
Got it. See, someone did get it. You. Right, an email and And Smith's message is on the way to me any minute now. I'll put the volume on so you can hear it come through.
Yeah, this is all going, so don't worry.
What, being edited?
Waiting for you to log in. It's hardly award-winning stuff, is it? What if I left all this in, Mark? Just to give people a taste.
Okay, reset the password. This happens every single time, but we're close. We're getting warm. This token is invalid. Fuck off. What do you mean this token is invalid? You've just sent it to me.
Oh, dear.
Here's the link.
I think you need to write him another review.
This token is invalid. So I've clicked it. This is another link. Oh, here we go. Enter password. I'm going to enter the same password I've just put in.
Well, that's not going to help, is it?
No, I will.
Oh, crikey.
Oh, hi. Special character. That's what my therapist used to call me, actually.
That is your password. Mark.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Unbelievable.
Hello, Mark.
You're in. Oh, thank fuck for that.
Interesting story, relatively. So I went down to my sister's this weekend. I mentioned something about blood tests because she just had a blood test, that was it. And she told it was like something specific. And her husband was there and he went, oh, I had a blood test at work. And she went, oh, read the results out to Mark. And he went, oh, I can't be asked, it's on my work phone. And I'm going, just read them out, it's interesting. We can. And I went, oh, see if you beat me. And as soon as that, he rushed out. So it made it into a competition.
Blood tolerance, yeah.
Exactly, that's the exact phrase I used. So we got them. The very, very interesting thing was that he'd been given the blood test. His company had asked for it to be done. It sent him the results, but with no explanation about anything. So it goes,
just numbers.
Your cholesterol's high. It's
right.
like red. And he went, what does this mean? And I went, but you need to know in relation to other things.
You're taking which type of cholesterol? Is it just cholesterol?
This was the LDL, HDL. Right. And this is something I don't know whether I put up on a story, is that Steak and Butter Gal, who's one of my carnivore, was saying that the high LDL, which is what everyone calls the bad cholesterol, you need to look at it in context.
Yeah.
And Carnivore MD has done the same. And in simple terms, what it's saying is, if other factors show that you're metabolically not fit, not well, not healthy, and you have a high LDL, then your risk of heart disease
is higher. Right?
Is higher.
Yeah.
But there are other things. One of them is triglycerides, that the ratio between the LDL and the triglycerides will determine, in effect, how bad is. High cholesterol by itself has always been, you're going to get clogged up. So everything I'm getting about the amount of meat I'm eating is like, you'll get high cholesterol and die. And basically this person was saying, and Carnivore MD was saying, if the ratio is less than 1, then you're smashing it. That's the important factor. It isn't seeing it in isolation. So my cholesterol is way, it's like right up in the red, but my triglycerides were a certain number. So my ratio was 0.85.
Right.
If you're under 1, everything's great.
Cool.
But they were saying, which I think is really interesting, that and they weren't blaming doctors, but I think an awful lot of doctors, I think the nutrition on the sort of training that they get, I think is 4 hours in the UK, 4 hours specifically on nutrition from your whole 8 years training to be a doctor sort of thing. So to expect people to be able to keep up with latest information and latest research. And one of the things, this is just sidetracking very, very quickly, there's something that we could probably talk about again, is that some of the past research that has happened that has basically said red meat's going to give you cancer and kill you was funded by Seventh-day Adventists.
What's that?
Seventh-day Adventists basically are the biggest supporters or proponents of veganism.
Right.
So if we go back when we've talked before about the Kellogg family who invented
Quakers.
cornflakes so everybody didn't masturbate all the time to try and get the simplest, plainest food, and he didn't agree with masturbation. I don't think he had sex with his wife. That was the whole thing. He was linked to Seventh-day Adventists, and they're very much around the vegan lifestyle, and meat's going to make you horny and blah, blah, blah. But they've actually been funding the research at major universities that's gone, meat's bad. And someone's actually looked into this and go, but that's the conclusion they wanted. But it's not like, I don't know, it's not like a vegan association has gone, can you tell us if meat's good or bad? But we think you'll probably tell us it's bad. So it was coming from a different funding stream that seemed to be impartial. but now they've looked back and said
Yeah.
that Seventh-day Adventists have had it. So when I went through these with my brother-in-law, it was quite interesting that he hadn't been given any guidance, and I think that's the key thing that I was going to take from this, rather than just read through all my results, was to say, I can't, we said that bit about not planning for the rest of your life. You spend X number of thousands of hours working or living, but you don't plan. How ridiculous is it? I think this was £130. I don't know anybody else who has spent £130 to find out intrinsically what's going on in their body.
Well, you think about when you do have just a standard blood test down the doctor's.
Yeah.
You may get 1 or 3 vials.
Yeah.
You don't get any report back.
No.
Because often they're only looking for the thing they think it is.
Yes.
And they go, you're fine.
Yeah, you haven't got...
Or your so-and-so markers are slightly high, but there's nothing to worry about. It's like, what?
Yeah. And it's like a basic foundation. And for that sort of money, it's like, surely
but it's going to the same labs, right?
Yeah.
These companies that you're paying 130 quid for, you think are the same ones or similar ones or equal to the ones that your NHS are using.
Yeah, and some blood tests now you are having to pay for. They're not happening on the NHS if you want something a bit more specific rather than what your GP sent you for. So it just made me think. It's like every single, I think I've had 23 markers looked at. On every single one it'll go, this is what the figures mean. This is how you can do something about it, good or bad. Cool. Like this is what you've probably been doing wrong to have this figure. And then here's the research papers that we're basing that guidance on.
All right.
And 1 or 2 are a little bit blunt, like the cholesterol thing is a little bit, high cholesterol's bad. We don't need any further discussion.
Yeah, right.
But interesting when they're looking at different levels, it'll go, this is what you could be eating, or this could be due to this, and that could, So basically, 12 of mine were in the high, 85% were considered in the normal range, 12% were high and 3% were low. I was just going to go through 1 or 2 things because the interesting thing is the comparisons with the blood test we did before, which was back in October 2022. So we're looking... Sorry.
2020.
I did mine in October 22. It was January 21, so it's 18 months difference, near enough 18 months. So the triglycerides, which I mentioned, have improved since, and so half the time since my last blood test I've been carnivore. Yeah. So the triglycerides have improved.
What, there's more of them?
Yeah, it was
Is
just
that how it's measured?
They were heading towards the high, the borderline high,
right.
And now they're
so
in the middle of normal.
They're not good then, generally. Or again, is this the high is?
Triglycerides is the main form of fat found within our bodies.
Okay, got you.
Important for maintaining energy and provides the fuel for muscles to work.
Got you.
I know I eat an awful lot of fat, but it's interesting they've now come into the normal range despite the fact that I have
sure.
tons of clotted cream. My LDL cholesterol was very high. There was 1 or 2 other things that were very interesting that I was just going to share quickly. It does things like active B12, for example. It then explains where you can get B12. And I had a client about 2 years ago who had some issues with food, and we were looking at her diet and nutrition and had some concerns that she wasn't... There was a lot of processed foods anyway, and a lot of plant-based foods. We had some concerns, so I said, I think I'd like you to go to your GP. I said, I can't see where you're getting, because you didn't take any supplements. When she went to the GP, her B12 was so low, she had to have 14 days of injections, 14 days in a row. Wow. Because they said, we can't just give you a supplement, we can't give you a pill and make this ready. You have to... And I thought that was like a big thing, isn't it? 14 days of going in every day and having an injection. Yeah. So B12, so one of my daughters is vegetarian, and I'd like her to do this test and go, and it isn't an anti-vegan agenda, anti-vegetarian, but if you can't get B12 in sufficient quantities from your diet, then you need to find other factors or other ways of getting it. It goes all through sort of things. There's something called albumin, calcium. It looks at cortisol, which I thought would be very high because we've discussed cortisol before as a stress hormone, and it wasn't, so that was good. My creatine was high. Well, meat's high in creatine.
But weren't you taking extra of that before you went on this diet?
Yeah.
Or did you still
That's full of creatine. Yeah, I take a lot of creatine.
Okay, right.
And then I'm not going to go through all of these. One of the interesting ones was, obviously, because I'm such a man.
You're going to talk about testosterone, aren't you?
My testosterone was very high. It'd come down a little bit, probably because I'm getting older as well. But the interesting thing is there's another reading, and it gave about how much of that testosterone you can access, and my body wasn't accessing a very big percentage of it. So I'm reading the research and the details now about how you access that. So it says you've got a very high level, but you're not being able to...
Can't get it.
Yeah, it's there,
got loads of it.
And again, that's a very simple thing, because there was something that came out today that said testosterone levels in the US have fallen by 37% in 15 years. And the guy who was discussing these figures said not only does that have implications around fertility, but it also has around mental health and around libido and around sexual function. And he was saying 37% drop is a big drop in 15 years. Yeah. And we touched on things around fertility, didn't we, last week? So I thought that was interesting. One or two other things that were pleasing. So my magnesium, I take magnesium supplements, that was in a good level. Yeah. I'm taking an awful lot of salt at the moment, but my sodium is still in the normal. Yeah. It's one of the things that a lot of carnivores do, take extra salt. So yeah, generally, I just felt really reassured. And then I've read up on ones where it goes, you could do... The interesting thing was, though, vitamin D was just below the middle of normal, and I thought that's interesting. I've been taking 8,000 IUs. The recommended dose is 2,000 or 400 or something ridiculous.
You said before that it kind of, your body rejects what it doesn't need.
Yeah, but
it right? So you can't overdose.
It's a solid. I think it's actually a hormone rather than vitamin D. But I think it's or is it a pre-hormone? I can't remember exactly on that. But I think it is soluble. So the point I'm making, I guess, is that so many people have vitamin D deficiencies that even when I'm taking supplements, I'm not hitting it off the park. Do you know what I mean? So but this is just, we can say about the organisation, there's plenty out there. Fourth was the organisation I did. Literally, I went into Superdrug, they gave me an appointment date, went in, the woman packaged everything up, and within 5 days it was back with all the results.
Cool.
So I just felt really reassured, I think.
And does it compare you to your last one? Can you do?
Yeah, we didn't do very many on our last one. That's the problem. I think there's only about 6 that it compares. They all improved.
Okay.
So that's positive.
For brain food, I saw your post today. I thought that'd be a good one to quickly look at.
Which post?
About kind of training, because your experience of training all these years and the certain exercises,
Exercise.
Is that what they're called? There's like a foundation of, if you're going to do anything in the gym, weight training, then do these things and do them well, and you don't need anything else.
No.
Because not everyone follows you, Mark.
No.
We've got more listeners than you got followers.
The reason I put it out was, taking a step back, I was thinking the other day, I think the older people get in the country, the less they're regarded in terms of having currency within. So in a lot of civilizations, the elders are considered the wise people that are looked up to and listened to and provide the moral and the guidance, basically, for that community.
Yeah.
And I think in this country, they're just patronised and shoved in care homes. Right. Or you become a national treasure and everyone goes, oh, David Attenborough, oh, Sir Tom.
Yeah.
Dame Judi Dench. But you don't go, this guy is a great philosopher and he's 75 and he's using all the experience of his life. I don't think we have role models of people that are seen as being wise or clever or just having that life experience that could help people. We look for the youth to come up with all these, bright ideas. Yeah. And so the reason I put that on my story was simple. I did a lift the other day, which is the first time in my life I've lifted this amount of weight in this way. It was really, really strict. So I listened to some podcasts about some American bodybuilders and they said, do this, do this, do this. And I implemented it and it worked. And I suddenly realised, whatever it is, the last 44 years that I've been lifting weights in the gym, probably only the last 4 have I really done it properly and really understood what I'm doing and understanding you don't need to be in a gym for 2 hours and you don't need to be taking monster drinks beforehand to get yourself moving, and you don't need to do 400 reps and grunt a lot. And so this was what was going through my mind. So I put together what I thought were 12 key lifts. Not many people got back, but the people got back when that looks good to me. And I think it was that element of, before you even look at the lifts, if you're not fueling your body properly, then you're defeating yourself. Yeah. And it has to be protein, because protein repairs, renews broken muscles. And when working out to overload, that's what you're doing.
That's
You're
because that's how
breaking.
you, sorry.
Yeah.
I always find that interesting. That's how you
Yeah.
build muscle, right?
Yeah.
By breaking them down in the first place.
Yeah. And it makes sense if you think about it, especially if you overload a certain, like I'm doing an awful lot of chest work at the moment, and I'm having to get to a position, and I have this in my mind, that it's no good just, if I want to get bigger and stronger in my chest, I almost have to break down what I've got already, fuel it, so it comes back bigger and stronger. That's how muscles grow, because they break down and they But if you don't have protein, if you don't have the building block of muscular growth and repair, they ain't going to do it. And I was listening to these guys in America because I'm trying to bench press better than I ever have done. And they were saying the guys back in the 60s and 70s, Arnie and all that lot, ate steak and eggs. There wasn't... You didn't get packets of Mars bars, protein, or special K protein cereal.
Creatine by the gallon, were they?
Well, creatine is because your body produces that anyway.
Yeah, they weren't drinking it out of bottles like that.
No, they would have just got it in their state. That is probably, I'm probably ODing on creatine. But the point I'm making is that there isn't any rocket science at all. And what's happened, we're just having packaged protein.
There's an opportunity to sell, isn't it? It's a very cynical view, but it's it's mostly true, isn't it? And I'm not doing that down. I'm not doing consumerism down or modern day marketing and advertising and people's livelihoods. I'm not doing that down at all. But if you like the convenience of that,
isn't it Emperor's New Clothes though? There's protein
think about everything is
Weetabix.
Yeah,
Weetabix isn't a protein.
Almost everything is, isn't it? It's been around for ages. Your granny was making it, for Sunday afternoon tea. When you came in for the park. It's not new.
No, but everything kept in their lane. So if you want protein in the morning, when I spoke to my brother-in-law...
It was never referred to that when I was growing up. No, my mum, anyone never went, oh, you need to get this in because it's... No one understood it, do they? No, but everybody
is aware of protein now, but what they're doing is going, I can't be asked to boil 3 eggs in the morning, so I'll get protein-enriched Weetabix. Weetabix is basically a carbohydrate with sugars in it. It isn't a protein. So shoving protein in... You've got an egg.
Oh yeah, that is just that's just how do we extend the shelf life? Basically, how can we keep this product on the shelf
and I'm sure
not go out of business?
Yeah, and I know my brother-in-law doesn't listen to this, so this isn't knocking him, but for breakfast he's got a very high pressure job and he's very pressed for time. So for breakfast he has Red Bull and chocolate.
Whoa!
And he said, "I wish I could be like you with your diet. I wish I could be unemployed and retired and have all the time in the world." And I went, you put your eggs in while you're having a shave, you put them in a bowl and you put them next to you and eat them in the same way you'd eat a bar of chocolate. And you'll get a great start to the day and you'll have 15 grams of protein rather than the start to the day that's going to give you a massive dip. And I think it's that... I'm trying to get the word.
But they're different things. There's an education there, isn't there? There's an education.
He isn't stupid though.
No.
Red Bull and chocolate shit. Everybody in the world knows that.
No, but I think there's I'm not saying he's not smart. You've just educated him.
Yeah.
It's kind of my point.
But he needs to...
Whether he listens or not, maybe he doesn't hear that enough.
Yes.
Or maybe he doesn't believe it. Maybe he's got to, like we've always talked, he's got to do it 15, 20 times for it to stick. And him to go, fucking, I actually feel... Not, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. You get to that point where you go, fuck, I feel that now.
I can see the difference.
Yeah. Or go, what, God, then he does slip and have the Red Bull and chocolate and go, oh, no, I'm not. We've talked about this in a couple of episodes ago. And you go, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You got to. I don't know how many times you have to do those things. It varies depending on what you're doing. But there's a point that you get to and past where you don't go back.
No, and I'm not trying to push carnivore, and I'm not trying to go, you should do this. But what I'm saying is, my experience,
I don't think anyone, just for clarity, we're not doctors. I think it's clear, but I think we can safely say that isn't good long term.
Yeah, but this goes back. This goes back to the wisdom. This goes back to the. I don't think he should say, Mark's old and he's telling me to have eggs, therefore I'll do it. But he said he hadn't seen me for a couple of years, I don't think, or not that long.
Haven't you grown?
But he was going, your skin is different, your face is different, you are actually glowing. And I feel like saying, I'm telling you what I do. You've seen the results. He likes gym work as well. I'm stronger than I've ever been. Mm-hmm. Why don't you give it a chance for 3 weeks? Just do this. And he was going,
and that's the short-termism thing again we talked about, isn't it? What is he trying to gain by the expediency of doing that.
Yeah.
That feels like he's saving time by doing that because he can't be asked to go and cook some eggs.
But the truth is, what he's doing is getting a dopamine hit every morning that you don't get from 3 eggs.
If he's doing that and it's working, he should have been retired 10 years ago. If he's so productive every day and smashing out the park every day, he should be done by now.
Yeah.
You could argue. Because where's it really getting you?
So the point going back to the exercises was, even when I'm opinionated, there was someone on Joe Rogan this week who was going, I would love people to tell me I'm wrong because then I've progressed, if my beliefs are wrong. And I was just thinking, when I see people in the gym, and I know with Amelia, a lot of her clients will have a monster before they train with her, and I'm just going, it's one step down from poison. It's you are working so well. Some of her girls are absolutely smashing at the moment and lifting fantastic weights, and it's like, but you're drinking crap that will have an effect on you. Yeah. And I think it's almost like that wisdom is exactly as you say, because everything's packaged as being new and sexy and exciting. Just going back to the basics.
It's almost kind of marketed in a way where you feel you are, I guess, skipping, saving time or gaining an efficiency of sorts. That's the sell, isn't it? A quick route, but as we know, there isn't any quick route. But we're still believing that in the short term, we're still believing I can just cut a corner. It will give me the energy I need because I haven't got time, or perceivably haven't got time to go and fuel myself properly. So, do you want to do your what the moves were?
So basically, I mean, when I did one of my qualifications, the guy that was doing it said there are only really 7 moves. So you have push and pull, and lift, and I think it was lift. So lift would be like a squat. A push would be a bench press because you're pushing the weights, and a lat pull down would be a pull. Yeah. So those are the sort of 3 planes that you go through. And what I was looking at was, I was looking at my workouts and thinking, what is effective, and what do I sometimes do just for variety? And it comes back to doing the same thing day in, day out. And then you'll read articles that go, confuse your muscles, like mix it up, or they get used to it, or they get in a rut. And you're sort of thinking,
a mind of their own.
If the best exercise for making your chest bigger is bench press,
keep doing that, right?
Keep doing that.
It's not going to go, no, you're doing that today, but I'm not going to put on any muscle.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
Yeah.
You
mix it up, sunshine.
And you can mix it up, so you can use a barbell, or you can use a dumbbell, or you can do...
that's pretty good for resting, if you want to rest, right, certain muscles. But I don't think they just keep going, don't they?
Yeah, but it's just...
Or is there a point of exhaustion where you can't train it anymore, you're going to have to give it a rest, or give it that time to recover and build back? I don't know. Yeah,
I think also from a mental point of view, it makes fun to... just try one or 2 other things, but it's the basis that I was saying. Firstly, body weight exercises. So I did about 80 pull-ups today. So I varied them. So my last 20 or 30 were very, very slow. So about 10 seconds up, 10 seconds down. So that was a bit of variety to try and get to overload or use a weight. But basically pull-ups. And I was thinking, it'd be really interesting going around the gym for people that were lifting a lot of weight, how many pull-ups they could do, because it's a truer measure of strength. So press-ups are the same. A press-up is only a bench press upside down. Yeah. And I'm sort of thinking, why doesn't that become part of people's rituals? I mean, I have a couple of clients who do squats every day. Yeah. But why aren't we just doing... And that isn't a time thing. We've had this discussion before. You used to do something when you're coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Coffee machine. But by the time it warms up, you could have got 20 press-ups in.
Yeah. Rather than being that you have to walk to this big building... to do a press-up. You can do a press-up as you get out of bed. It seems that we've almost gone gym-type exercises only happen in a gym. We're ignoring the fact that you can do them in daily life. So it was bench press and a close grip for your triceps, pull-ups and press-ups, lat pull down. The back is harder to train without machines, I think, because the lat pull down is a very effective one. Bicep curls, that although it's an isolation exercise, not a compound one, it is a classic of, the old-fashioned...
So in isolation, just doing one muscle group rather than...
Yeah, and there is a bit of a snobbery, like, well, do something, and obviously...
Isn't that because it's seen as a vanity?
Yeah.
A vanity
exercise. A bicep is a tiny little muscle, so to just work it by itself, to make it big, it is just a visual... Yeah. It helps during back exercises.
You don't want to be all triceps, though, do you? That might look a little bit weird.
So there's a bit of balance. And obviously there's the big ones like the squats and the deadlift, so they would be compound. But it was interesting, someone was asking me the other day for some abs exercises, and I said, I don't think I've done an abs exercise in 5 Your six-pack, if you want a six-pack, comes from your diet, backed up by a whole range of exercises where your core is engaged. You don't have to do crunches or sit-ups or...
To make them...
I used to do like hanging leg raises. I do nothing now, and I've probably got the best six-pack I've ever had because my diet is spot on in my view. And I work really hard at all the exercises. So I think that's something I've learned. I still see people doing 200 sit-ups or a plank for 8 minutes. I don't get any exercise you can do for 8 minutes isn't overloading your body.
Yeah,
Like,
true. Very true.
Because if it's that easy to do...
Yeah.
Is this the bit where I can just freewheel a bit? How are we doing for time?
I want to wrap this up. What you got?
I've got loads.
No, well, no, we ain't got time for loads.
I sent you Stephen Fry talking about a pack of cards.
Did you?
I don't know if you watched it.
Don't remember you sending it me.
This blows my mind every time I hear it, and I don't know whether you'd allow me to play
audio
it for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't need visual.
Okay, well, no, put it...
We have alluded to this in a past podcast, but I lost the link to something.
Well,
so if I just find this now, and interestingly enough, this is the same site that I got my addiction cartoon from, which is interesting.
Very exciting, because we have a very special finale tonight. Tonight, entirely alone, without the aid of a safety net, I am going to do something that has never been done by any human being since the beginning of time. Yes. And all I need is this. A simple pack of cards? No. All I need is indeed a simple pack of cards. What I'm going to do is shuffle them. And now I have produced a pack of cards, and that pack of cards, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, has never before in the history of our planet been in that order. It's never been in that order before. How can we know that? Yes. It's a simple mathematical fact. The order of cards is a gigantic number. It's a number which is known by mathematicians as shriek. You write it as 52 exclamation mark. You'll know this. 52 factorial. This is 52 factorial, which is 52 times 51 times 50 times 49 times 48. These are all the possibilities in which a pack of cards can be. Just 52 of them. And that number is big. It's this big. Look how big this number is. That number is so big that were you to imagine that if every star in our galaxy had 1 trillion planets, each with 1 trillion people living on them, and each of these people had 1 trillion pack of cards, and somehow they managed to shuffle them all 1,000 times a second, and they'd been doing that since the Big Bang, they would only just now be starting to repeat shuffles. So I can say with all the mathematical certainty that is possible that this pack of cards has never been in this order before. It's an absolute world first.
That is a good one, Mark. I have seen that before, but it's well worth a little rollout.
Yeah, it just sends a little shiver through me. Just me.
I'll keep you warm at night.
Yeah. Well, I'll eat my robin if I'm that cold.
That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening to us. Remember that you can follow us on all the socials by searching for imfinecast, and feel free to drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com. I have no idea what's in the next episode.
I think the bit that you said, like, when I came in, sort of not, you didn't say it like this, but how come you're in such a good mood? One of the things I'm going to do tonight when I'm back in the tent is try and work that out. Mm-hmm. Because if I just accept, today was a good day and tomorrow's a shit day, then I haven't learnt anything. So there must be some components from today. So maybe we could look at the fact that the components of today at face value seem the same as any other day. I don't have a rich and varied life. I don't really speak to many people.
Yeah,
I go to the gym
every
every
done
day.
the same thing that you did.
But today has been off the stratosphere in how content and happy. And so is it something around food or water, or is it something about doing good for somebody else, even the tiniest little thing? Like, I had a very nice conversation with Amelia today. None of it was groundbreaking. Was it the fact that I put that thing out about addiction and someone went, I need to speak to you, thank you for putting that up?
Maybe.
Maybe it isn't the big
Well, maybe it's because
things.
I was gonna say maybe because we can't be that because it was so I guess seemingly insignificant.
Yeah. And I'm going to actually examine today and just go, what's different? Was it the amount of sleep I had beforehand? Was it the type? Because my watch gives very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was awake at 6 and I hadn't had any rapid eye movement, so no dreaming in effect. Then I went back to sleep and got 2.25 hours, and it was non-stop dreaming according to my watch. And my watch gives a report every day and goes like, you're going to be in a really creative mood today. You like dreamt till the cows come home sort of thing. Yeah. So maybe the quality of my sleep, and this might be worth looking into, is that my watch basically says I don't get any REM till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So if I'm woken early and I miss all that, that creativity, that sort of open-mindedness seems to have gone. So maybe it's looking at the sleep and
good one.
I just feel it is probably too easy to go, oh, just do something you like or spoil yourself or a bit of self-care. Maybe it's just the very, very basic elements. Going back to what you said about the weightlifting, maybe it's just getting those elements right.
Yeah.
And if you get them all the stars aligned, then, you get a good day sort of thing.
Okay, cool.
All right, we could examine that, couldn't we?
Yeah, it'd be good. Cool. All right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.